If you haven't or you are not going to, please pay attention to me because I am going to summarize everything that is included in CLT for you. And now let's start with the 10 questions. Alright, first, how about the goal of CLT? First, everything that is done in CLT has something to do for the students to communicate in the target language. So, to use the target language in their daily life is the main goal of CLT. This is what all you have to remember in CLT, also the keywords. And also, like one of our members has already mentioned that only linguistic competence, you only know the grammar, you only know the lexicon, you only know the words, is exactly not enough. But if you combine those words and grammar that you know with communicative competence, it means that you know exactly how to use it in real life situation, how to use it in daily life, right? And so the social context is very important in this case. And second, how about the roles of teachers? Teachers are actually always the facilitators in CLT. So teacher will only establish situations and only teachers will stand aside and give advice, but actually teachers seldom participate in activities. By seldom participate in activities, it doesn't mean that teachers cannot participate in, but if needed, teachers still can do that. And students are actually the communicators in every activity in CLT. So students will participate in activities and negotiate meaning and use the target language to speak up and to communicate with each other. And also, you have to know that teachers are less dominant than in a teacher-centered method like GT and TPR. What do I mean here? It means that, for example, in GT, do you still remember GT translation method? In GT, the teachers are authority, right? Teachers are authority, and teachers might give you a passage and ask you to translate it into the target language. And in that case, teachers are the authority. And also in TPR, teacher will give you comments and you will complete a certain action, right? So in GT and TPR, those kind of methods are called teacher-centered method. However, in CLT, teachers are less dominant, which leads to a result that students will be more responsible for their own learning, since they are the participants of the activities and they speak up all the time, so they have to be responsible for the result of their learning. The characteristics. Everything done with communicative intent. It means that when teachers are designing activities using CLT method, they have to consider communication as the core principle of the activities, so that students in the activities can speak up and can use the target language to communicate with each other and can practice. And also, the use of authentic material is the characteristics. Like in Tracy's activity, she cites a paragraph from newspaper. And newspaper is considered one of the kind of authentic materials because that is what students can find, students can use in their daily life. And also, activities are strongly suggested to be done in small groups because in small groups, teachers will not interact with the activities, and then students will communicate with one another so that they can have more chances to speak up using the target language. And those three are the characteristics. And how about the student-teacher and student-student interaction? First, in CLT, teachers only establish activities for the students, but seldom take part in. That's what I have mentioned before. But in contrast, students actually interact with one another in pairs, in small groups, and in whole groups. And that is the interaction between student and student, and also student and teacher. How about the students' feelings? In CLT, a lot of opportunities, a lot of activities are designed and given for the students to express their thoughts, so that they have a lot of chances to speak up. And it leads to the result that students will feel like, oh, I'm learning something very useful. I can use it, I can use this language in my daily life. So students will not feel like, oh, I'm just learning something like an object that's that's useless at all. But they will feel like, oh, I'm learning something very useful. So they will be more motivated to learn the language, the target language. And how language and culture are built. In CLT, the textbook suggests that language is for communication use. It means that language is composed of forms, meanings, and functions. And when you combine them all together with the social context, and then the students who are taught in CLT will be very capable of using target language in their daily life, in social situation. And for culture is actually for daily lifestyle, everyday lifestyle. It means that how people in the target language use the target language in their daily life is very important in the culture part of CLT. And 7, what language areas and skills are emphasized in CLT? Functions over forms. It means that we focus more on functions over forms. For example, in the first place, the teachers might introduce to the students that something like would you or could you. Afterwards, the teachers may expect the student to know more about something like, I wonder if you would mind doing something, blah, blah, blah. So it means that it focuses more on discourse. Discourse means the real conversation. It focuses more on discourse, but not only on the meaning of the sentences, but the meaning above the sentences, which is what the textbook calls suprasentential level. So we focus more on what the language functions, but not the form of the language. Meaning, right, okay. And also, the cohesion and coherence are emphasized by Tracy, right? And the role of students L1. In the textbook, it suggests that appropriate use of L1 is actually allowed, because if students do not know what the teachers are talking about, and then the activities will to be not available. So students and teachers should try their best to use L2, the target language, in every part of the teaching, as much as possible. And for example, L2 can be used to explain activities and also to carry out the activities and also assign homework. And evaluation. Students who are taught in CLT will be evaluated on their accuracy and fluency of the target language. And actually, textbook suggests 2 ways. One is informally. So students, for example, when they are doing the activities, and the teachers can start evaluating their performance during the activities. And other kind of evaluation is more formal. For example, students can be evaluated more formally using the integrated test, which means that the teachers might ask the student to write letter, because in letter we often use some kind of daily language, which is the main goal of, like I mentioned before, the main goal of CLT. And finally, the error treatment. Errors actually are seen as some natural outcomes. So, for example, errors are tolerated during the fluency-based activities. For example, like in Lillian's language game activity. During the activities, even though the teachers note that some kind of students, they made some kind of mistakes, but teachers will only note down the errors, but not directly correct the student. But errors will still be pointed out after the activities, like what Lillian has demonstrated to us. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.